Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa iti nami. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa iti nami. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa namine Gora Karuna Swarupaya Radha Krishna Prastaya Te. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nayanya Jaya Jaya Gauranga Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasudeva Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Gopala Govinda Rama Madana Mohana 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 Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana 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 Mohana. Hari Bol Krishna. Hari Bol Krishna. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. 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 Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana Gopala Govinda Rama 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 Madana Mohana Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa, Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Haribol, Namaste, Haribol. Namo Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa Namine Guru Karuna Sarupaya Radha Krishna Prastate Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shadvaita Gadadhar Shubhasadiko Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Haribol, Namaste. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for participating, giving us the opportunity to glorify the Supreme Person. So this morning will be the continuation of our study program. So I'll read here one of the teachings that Lord Chaitanya's associate is giving us and guiding us, telling us how to see his representative. A person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the action of anger, and the urge of the tongue, the belly, and genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. So in connection with the Nectar of Instruction by Rupa Goswami, I like to recall what we were discussing in our study program. It is about the teachings of Parampara, the saintly person, in parallel with all the teachings of the bona fide spiritual master. In the Nectar of Devotion, evidence regarding devotional principles. Accepting the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. So in corroboration with the teachings of Rupa Goswami, in Mantra 1, in the Nectar of Instruction, he's telling us the qualification of a bona fide spiritual master. A sober person who can tolerate the urge to speak, the mind's demands, the action of anger, and the urge of the tongue, the belly, and the genitals is qualified to make disciples all over the world. To accept someone as a spiritual master who is the representative of the Supreme Person, it's crucial in our life because it will determine our success in achieving the goal of life. Because the bona fide spiritual master can guide us in the right direction, which is absolute, infallible, and eternal. And I like to read again the teachings of Saint Prabhupada talking to his dearmost friend, Maharaj Nimi. My dear king, please know for certain that in the material world there is no happiness. It is simply a mistake to think that there is happiness here, because this place is full of nothing but miserable conditions. Any person who is seriously desirous of achieving real happiness must seek out a bona fide spiritual master and take shelter of him by initiation. The qualification of a spiritual master is that he must have realized the conclusion of the scripture by deliberation and arguments, and thus be able to convince others of these conclusions. Such great personalities who have taken shelter of the Supreme Godhead, leaving aside all material considerations, are to be understood as bona fide spiritual master. Everyone should try to find a bona fide spiritual master in order to fulfill his mission of life, which is to transfer himself to the plane of spiritual bliss. The purport is that one should not accept as a spiritual master someone who is a fool, number one, who has no direction according to scripture or injunction, whose character is doubtful, who does not follow the principles of devotional service, and who has not conquered the influence of the 6 gratifying agents. The 6 agents of sense gratification are the tongue, the genitals, the belly, anger, the mind, and words. Anyone who has practiced controlling these 6 is permitted to make disciples all over the world. To accept such a spiritual master is the crucial point for advancement in spiritual life. One who is fortunate enough to come under the shelter of a bona fide spiritual master is sure to traverse the path of spiritual salvation without a doubt. This stage of consciousness, as described by Rupa Goswami, is exemplified by the great Vaishnava Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur. In the story that was narrated by our Gurudev, Jagad Guru Siddhaswarup, about the life of Haridas Thakur. Being born in a Muslim family in India, where there is worship of Lord Jagad in the temple, one who has a body that is not Indian, the label Indian, is not allowed to enter the temple of Lord Jagad. So Haridas Thakur just simply look and meditate upon Lord Jagad outside of the temple. And in one instance, Haridas Thakur, being very famous, being a devotee of the Supreme Person, he's chanting inside a cave. And during that time, the Muslim priests and the Indian Brahmins who identify themselves as the label, who are so much immersed in sectarianism, they cannot accept Haridas Thakur chanting the names of Lord Krishna. And because out of envy also, they want to destroy him. And the Muslim priests during that time, they felt in their heart that why is he chanting, glorifying a Hindu god? He is a Muslim. And because of his fame, Haridas Thakur, he's being glorified as a great Vaishnava. And they felt so much envy of him. And they want to destroy him. And they pursued their intent in actualization, send somebody to destroy Haridas Thakur. So they sent this beautiful lady. The difference between someone who is seer of the truth, he sees the person. So the Hindu priests and the Muslim priests, they send someone who is very physically, outwardly beautiful and attractive. But being with wisdom, transcendental wisdom, the spiritual master Haridas Thakur sees the person, while these individuals, they see the beautiful body, and in connection with the urge to control the senses, we can see in the life of Haridas Thakur that he sees this person in a woman's body. So when she came to entice him, what he felt, he stayed there because out of his love and compassion for this person, to save her. When we come in contact with the representative of the Supreme Person, he guides us, he protects us with wisdom. So when our Gurudev appeared here in this planet, he taught us the basic, fundamental foundation, absolute foundation about our transcendence, about our true nature, that we are different from this body. And that foundation will be the foundation of where we can be very discerning, very clear, and decide where we can repose our time, our energy to be in harmony with God. And he taught us about our position, that we're eternally the loving servant of God. And he gave us a process that will purify our heart, our whole being, from this covering, this illusion, this material disease of falsely identifying ourselves as this material body. So the pure devotee of God, the spiritual master, one qualification is that he is completely realized and have this understanding absolutely, without a doubt, of his transcendence. And not only that, he understands his position as eternally the loving servant of God. So Haridas Thakur exemplified whatever he does, his action of someone who is a bona fide spiritual master. So when they tried to destroy him with sending this beautiful lady, the spirit soul in a beautiful body, he sees with the eye of transcendence, the spirit soul. So, as practitioner or students of the absolute truth, of wanting to be in harmony with God, we must become purified from this material conception. And Lord Chaitanya, Haridas Thakur, all the great Vaishnava, is giving us a process that will purify us from this material conception and misgiving that we are this body. Not only that, when we take advantage of this process of Harinama, which Lord Chaitanya is introducing to us the eternal Sankirtan movement, the chanting of the holy names of God, then we can enter that world of what we're longing for in our heart. So the spiritual master is called in a state of master of his senses. He is Goswami. He is master of his senses. So to accept someone as a spiritual master is not a cheap thing, because it's very crucial. It will determine our success in life. So as we can see, Haridas Thakur stayed and chanted the holy names through the ears of this young lady and gave her God's embrace, and she became purified. She felt that she committed a great offense of trying to destroy Haridas Thakur. And she felt sorry and asked for forgiveness. By the association of the spiritual master, a person's heart changes. That's why if we study the Vedic scripture, especially Bhagavad Gita, when Lord Krishna is telling us, advising Arjuna to search out a bona fide spiritual master, surrender to him, listen to him, follow him. Just like what all the great Vaishnava did. Like Maharaj Pariksit, listening to Sukadev Goswami. All the great Vaishnavas, they followed in their heart the instruction, the guidance of Lord Krishna through his representative. And they were all blessed. So if we want to be very blessed, we must take advantage of this great opportunity that is being given to us by our spiritual master, Jagad Guru Siddhaswarup. Because if we take it by heart, what is being taught in all these scriptures, what is being described, it can happen to all of us. Because it is an experiential experience when one follows this process. The simple teaching that we always hear, you're not the body. Then the process we always hear, purify this material contamination with the chanting of the holy names. It's a very serious matter, spiritual activities. And if we take it by heart and follow it, we will enter that world of transcendence. When Haridas Thakur was being beaten, he's being by this cane in 21 marketplaces. Because of his transcendental surrender and in meditation upon his relationship with the Supreme Person, he's not touched. So, the perfect example of someone who can tolerate the urge to speak, the urge of anger, the urge of the mind, is Haridas Thakur. The perfect example of someone who is in this state of the Nectar of Instruction written by Rupa Goswami. So, this example means it is achievable if we follow the process. Haridas Thakur, Rupa Goswami, the 6 Goswamis, they're all followers of Lord Chaitanya. And Lord Chaitanya, when he was asked by Prakasananda why he's chanting like a sentimentalist, he humbly said, he described to him his position, his relationship with his spiritual master, Ishvara Puri. When Lord Chaitanya was asked by the great Vedic scholar Prakasananda Sarasvati why he, the Lord, was chanting the holy names of the Lord like a sentimentalist, instead of studying the Vedanta philosophy, the Lord replied that his spiritual master found him to be a great fool, and thus he asked him to chant the holy names of Lord Krishna. He did so, and he became ecstatic like a madman. In this age of Kali, most of the population is foolish and not adequately educated to understand Vedanta philosophy. The best purpose of Vedanta philosophy is served by inoffensively chanting the holy names of the Lord. Vedanta is the last word of Vedic wisdom, and the author and knower of Vedanta philosophy is Lord Krishna, and the highest Vedantis is a great soul who takes pleasure in chanting the holy names of the Lord. That is the ultimate purpose of Vedic mysticism. So all the teachings, the teachings of the Vaishnavas, they are in parallel, corroborated by scriptures in parallel, and exemplified by devotees, individuals who enter the world of transcendence. What is that? It is about understanding their transcendence, who they are, knowing well, being situated in the transcendental situation, and not only that, with wisdom, guided by Lord Krishna, and following it, they're experiencing happiness, great happiness. And what is that happiness? It's being reinstated in our natural situation. The living entity us, love is inseparable from us. Happiness is inseparable from us. All of us, we are seeking for happiness, for pleasure. But if we are ignorant of this wisdom, we falsely try to squeeze happiness through the senses, with our senses, and try to find fulfillment of our unlimited craving to be happy, and when we direct it upon this temporary limited world, we are never satiated and satisfied. So, the great Vaishnavas in the line of disciplic succession guides us with love, invites us to enter that world. Lord Chaitanya invites us to enter that world. Hare Nama, chanting the holy names. So now, I'll read to all of us for our benefit what that world is. Because we talk about our identity, that we are not this body. We talk about our position, that we are not in control, that we must become purified from this false lordship. And Scripture tells us that we are not the owners. We are servant. But this contamination of false lordship, this false ego of trying to manipulate, to be in control of material nature, did put us in this quagmire, in this abyss. We have become so muddled, we cannot see So Lord Chaitanya introduced to us through our Gurudev the Maha Mantra. And these holy names of God is not different from God. It has the same purifying effect as seeing God, hearing. And I'll read here in Lord Chaitanya's Sikshastaka, so we can strengthen our understanding with wisdom based upon Scripture, and we follow it, we realize and actualize, and it becomes an experiential experience that following the instruction of Lord Chaitanya, our Gurudev, we enter the world of loving service to the spiritual master and Lord Krishna. If we simply follow the instruction of our dear spiritual master, who is very dear to the Supreme Person, Krishna is very pleased. When Lord Krishna is very pleased, our spiritual master smiles and becomes very pleased. He blesses us. Krishna blesses us. Now we can see ourselves. And then I'll read to you here the experience, an actual experience that is exemplified by Lord Chaitanya. That experience of loving surrender. But first, I like to reiterate the glories of the Sankirtan movement, the holy names of God, coming from Lord Chaitanya. And prior to reading this, I'll give a verse in the Upanishad. Hare Nama eva kebalam kollowana steva gatiranyata. In this age of quarrel and confusion, there is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way to enter the world of loving devotion. The easiest way, except through the chanting of the Maha Mantra, the holy names of God. So Lord Chaitanya in his Sikshastaka, he writes, Lord Chaitanya is the greatest authority. He is the representative of Scripture, God Himself. And He tells us the value of chanting the holy names. Glory to the Sri Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years together. Thus, the fire of conditional life of repeated birth and death is extinguished. The Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large, because it spread the rays of benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it helps to have a taste of full nectar for which we are always anxious. How do we establish our relationship with the Supreme Person? Lord Krishna guides us, tells us, look for a bona fide spiritual master. My dear representative, surrender to Him, serve Him, love Him, follow Him. And the spiritual master guides us. He directs our love to the Supreme Person. We are allowed to enter that world, that family of a transcendental relationship that is eternal. Here is the consciousness of someone who is on a transcendental position, consciousness. It is none other than Lord Chaitanya. He prays, O Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor I have any desire to enjoy beautiful women.
Neither do I want any numbers of followers of mine. What I want only is that I may have your causeless, devotional service in my life, birth after birth. O son of Maharaj Nanda, I am your eternal servitor. And although I am so somehow or other, I have fallen in the ocean of birth and death. Please therefore pick me up from this ocean of death and fix me as one of the atoms of your lotus feet. So I like to give a story of someone who became a disciple of our spiritual master. Many of Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they passed away already. But in this instance, one of his disciples, Panchatattvadas, he went out preaching. For so long, he doesn't write Srila Prabhupada. He just followed the instruction of Srila Prabhupada to give the holy names. So as years pass by, he just worked, chant, help people, pass on the holy names. Then one day, something happened to his body. He has this swelling inside his head, and it began to destroy his control over the body. He can hardly talk. He's so much in pain. There was a time that he's not able to listen to his Gurudev, watch his Gurudev, years. But at a time, he's leaving the body, Krishna came. Our Gurudev called him, talked to him. He said, "My dear Pancha, do not worry. Krishna will protect you." Not only that, he said to Pancha, "Krishna loves you and I love you." So that gave him so much strength in his life while he's serving far away physically from his spiritual master. He's connected with this experience of loving surrender. One time, my spiritual master was giving an example of a disciple who is fixed. He gave this example to us. If there's a husband, there's this husband who owns this duplex, and his wife is leaving, going somewhere else for a certain time. And there's someone also renting in one of the duplex, a beautiful young lady. So when his wife is leaving, he went out with her to give her a ride. And this young lady in this duplex is looking very charming. "Hi, your wife's leaving?" "Yes, she's going somewhere." Then the wife left. When he's about to enter his house, the young lady tells her, "Why don't you have some coffee with me? I prepared some snack. Come." The husband feels, tells the young lady, "No, I'm full. I've just eaten my breakfast. Thank you very much." Then she makes again another move, calls him in the telephone. There's a problem, there's no water, Can you please come?" And the husband tells her, "Don't worry, I'll call our plumber to fix that." But she's very persistent. You know, I'm so lonely out here. I need somebody to talk. Someone who can I express my feelings. I'm so helpless. Can you please try to comfort me? And the husband tells, you know, I'm very busy. I'll just send my, maybe you can just listen to this. You know, there's a program going on about an educational program about your true identity and about the subject matter being given by Vaishnava. It's about transcending loneliness and finding pleasure where is pleasure to be found. So he makes this distance, not because he's afraid. He does not want that his relationship with his wife be tainted. He's like a chaste wife. The husband goes away, the wife goes for someone, look for someone, so she can talk. She can lean her head and ask stupid questions, you know. So the husband, the disciple, must be very chaste. And it's connected with following the instruction of the chanting of the holy names, because it will connect us with what we're longing, what we're looking. Lord, our spiritual master is not interested with followers. Having so many followers, they're gonna die anyway and leave us. So this husband, whose wife traveled far, he's chaste. He does not have another relationship with someone because he protects the purity of his love for his wife. So that comes in with this example given by our Gurudev. When we are establishing our relationship with the Supreme Person, under the guidance of the spiritual master, the dearmost friend of Lord Krishna, we are guided and protected by his instruction. You may be physically very far, but connection with Krishna is not based upon geographical location, because the holy names, Lord Krishna, Lord Chaitanya himself established that the holy names is not different from him. The spiritual master, the personification of his compassion, is in the holy names. The spiritual world is the holy names. And when we follow our spiritual master, that love that we want to establish, that protects us. The senses, when we chant, when we follow this purificatory process, the first experience is that we can understand our true identity, that we are not this body. We can watch the mind. We can watch the desire. Krishna blesses us because when a person follows the spiritual master, his dearmost friend, he becomes very dear to Lord Krishna and protects him, gives him vision. He's always protected. In Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna tells us, from me comes remembrance and forgetfulness. And he established, my devotee will never perish. To those who are constantly devoted unto me, I give them the understanding by which they can come to me. So what will protect us from this onslaught of material nature, this attraction? It is the wisdom of our true identity, that we know there's no happiness there. When our spiritual master established this fundamental absolute truth, that this, what we see with our eyes, are all temporary. He told us our predicament. He told us about our situation. He gave the example of the coconut. It has, he's telling us, you're blind. Not only that, you see darkness. Just like this coconut, it has the outer covering, the husk, the shell, and the meat. It's like when you're inside, you cannot see. So the spiritual master picks us, connects us with that love that is eternal. That is what we should be focusing. So that what will protect us from the desire in the mind. Because now we have this foundation of feeling, understanding that even though I'm far from my spiritual master, I will not look for another enjoyment, but rather I am now situated with this relationship of pleasing my spiritual master. Even though I'm very far physically, so I can make a stand. It's not that Maya, material nature, I don't want, protect me. You're running away from Maya? How can you run? But rather, the person experiences a higher taste. And what is that higher taste? It is love for KRSNA. It is love for his spiritual master. That he can make a stand. My spiritual master is giving the example of our situation. We're riding in this body. This body is like a vehicle, a chariot. The mind is the rein, and we are standing, and the senses are all there, the 5 senses, 5 horses. And he compared it to the snake. And the snake, with its fang, with its poison, when it bites us, especially the cobra or the serpent, we become immobile. We become in coma. We cannot move. But when we chant the holy names of God, we're under the protection of the divine energy of God. Then we chant, we can be in a situation that all the pangs of this snake will be gone. That even though they bite you, it just tickles you. It's not anymore running away from desire, but rather our natural desire to serve and love is now reposed, directed where it should be reposed. It is in connection with pleasing the one we love. Just like this husband whose wife has left for a certain time, being enticed by this beautiful lady. He does not want to tinge that relationship. Just like when Haridas Thakur was enticed by this beautiful young lady, he sees the person. He has so much compassion upon someone who is suffering. And what is the suffering? It is the load of being immersed in lust. To be in hell means burning with lust, anger and greed, anxiety. And he has so much love for her that she protects her by giving her the holy names. That even though Haridas Thakur was beaten in 21 marketplace, the people who were beating him, the 2 guys, their hands were bleeding, they were crying. And he asked them, "My dear sir, why are you crying?" And they said, "We're doomed. If we cannot kill you, we will be killed." And Haridas Thakur does not want to give pain to anyone, mentally or physically. He does not want to cause suffering to anybody. He said, "It's what you want." Then he died from their eyes. He went into samadhi. So what will protect us? It is love for God. So when we chant the holy names and in humility, just like Lord Chaitanya is the perfect example of humility. God Himself, He's telling us, one should chant the holy names of the Lord in a humble state of mind, feeling himself lower than the straw in the street, more tolerant than the tree, and devoid of all sense of false prestige, and ready to offer all respects to others. One can tolerate the urge of the mind, the senses, the anger, When one is guided and directed upon this transcendental world, this transcendental breeze of love for God, he's able to see. Just like I described a while ago, 2 days ago, when I saw the poster of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, the poster is, He sees God. Haridas Thakur sees Krishna, the all-attractive Supreme Person. He sees the spirit soul. He sees material nature. And with wisdom, all the saintly person understand this nature, transcendental nature and material nature. And it's given to us in the Sri Upanishad. Everything animate or inanimate that is within this universe is owned and controlled by God. Knowing well to whom they belong, one must use only the quota that is allotted to them, to Him. So what protects us? What protects us is this relationship, just like this husband who wants to have a clear, loving relationship, undebated love for his wife. That even though the snake bites him, they have no teeth. Just tickles him. Because he now, when we follow this path, it's all purifying. Sometimes we take it lightly that when we chant the holy names, we become purified from this misconception of false bodily identification. So, it becomes like just a thing that goes on every day. But because the holy name is very powerful, and if a person is sincere, he makes a decision in his life. From now on, my will not be done, but rather the will of Krishna. When we begin to practice spiritual life, to enter that world, in the beginning, it's all about relief. It's all about us. Even in the name of serving God, it's all about us. What we want. But what we should understand is what Krishna wants. What is pleasing to Krishna. And the spiritual master guides us, helps us to do what is pleasing to Lord Krishna. They're inviting us to enter that world. So even though we feel in our heart, for so long we have neglected Lord Krishna, our Gurudev. We have neglected them. But we, because of arrogance, we become sanctimonious, meaning we feel holier, higher than others. No. That is not the state to be able to be sheltered under the lotus feet of our Gurudev, of Lord Krishna. It is the third prayer of Lord Chaitanya. Success in spiritual life is based upon these two. The secret of achieving success is when one chants the holy names of God. And second is the humbleness in his heart, not feeling higher than anybody. So when one is in that state, he transcends this material world. He enters that world. And that relationship with the spiritual master is eternal. My dear friend Panchatattvadas, at the time he's leaving this world, Lord Krishna came, our Gurudev came, chanted on his ears, talked to him, guided him, assured him he is protected. In the beginning, the pain that he experienced, his head is swelling because there's so much pus inside his brain. He's in agony. When I went to the ICU, he's just lying there because they cut. The doctor, what he did was, he's a brain surgeon. They cut the skull, open it, and they try to take off the liquid. They think it's like hydrocephalus, water, but in his case, it's not water. The blood inside the brain has become so contaminated, inflamed, and now there's so much pus in one of his brain that control his walking, his speech. And he's there in pain and agony. But when he heard Srila Prabhupada there's a devotee who came there, who spoke to him in his ears, Pancha, Srila Prabhupada is giving you this message that don't worry, he loves you. Krishna loves you. And he loves you. You know, Pancha heard that in pain and agony. He shouted, Haribol. Wow! He cannot speak, but he became so elated. And at that time, he was brought in his house, on his deathbed. Srila Prabhupada came, talked to him, guided him until the time he left. Because the disciples who were there chanted the holy names of Lord Krishna to him with Srila Prabhupada chanting through this medium of recorded, and they chant together while Pancha is there listening to the holy names. He passed away listening to the holy names. So that is very important in one's life. We've been here for so long in this material dimension. Now, by the mercy of Lord Krishna, we have come in contact with our dear friend, our eternal friend, who has unconditional love for us, our Gurudev, who has so much love for the Supreme Person, who wants to appease the transcendental sadness of Lord Krishna, that his children are here suffering us, but thinking we're enjoying. We're in so much pain. The carrying of lust to be muddled mentally, in anger, to be confused, to be greedy for mundane things, to be muddling in this mud, in this muck, trying to play Lord, to engage in so much sinful activities, not understanding our true nature, our true position. We are not able to experience that Ananda. So now our spiritual master is giving us this Ananda by following his instruction. He's inviting us to enter the world of eternal loving service. He is the residence of Vrindavan, guiding us to enter that world of loving service, the representative of Radha and Krishna. Although, who am I, who is very sinful, who have neglected the Lord for so long, I have turned my face and look upon this world and try to be Lord. I've forgotten the Lord. But He comes, tells us. So the qualification is the sincerity and guided by the prayer of Lord Chaitanya. So that's why it's very important to find someone who is a bona fide spiritual master, who is a lover of God, because he can transform, change, influence us to enter that world. Because you cannot give something you don't have. So the spiritual master is completely in love with the Supreme Person, the loving servant of the Supreme Person, the loving disciple of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, our Gurudev. Hopefully, I become blessed and partake in His mission, in His instruction, that no matter what happens, I'll be protected to remember Him, to be part of whatever He's doing, in any capacity. Because it is exemplified by what our spiritual master did, his love for Pancha Tatbadas. Not only that, my God sister, Chaitanya Dasi, he's in coma. Lord Srila Prabhupada guided her. The relationship with the spiritual master is eternal. It is us who tries to run away, to turn our face from Krishna. But He's so magnanimous and compassionate. So we must take that love that He's giving us. And with wisdom of listening every day through the chanting of the holy names, understanding the absolute truth through the guidance of Rupa Goswami, the six Goswami, the eternal associates of Lord Chaitanya, Sanatan Goswami, the great Vaishnavas who have succeeded, who are not of this world, who are in this transcendental world of devotional service, as what Lord Krishna exemplified when He came to this planet 5,000 years ago, and what Lord Chaitanya did when He came 500 years ago, and what Parampara did to us, gave us. So we must take it by heart, make it our life, because that is the eternal treasure that we can cling on and have eternally, not this illusion, because this world is temporary. It does not exist in the spiritual world. It is the word of love, eternal love. So the more we become purified, the more we see. The more we hear, the more we can hear in clarity. We become discerning. We become guided in the right direction to go back home in that word of love. Just like this husband who is always in meditation of his wife, the disciple must be like that. So the disciple, when he's given instruction by the spiritual master, is not different from Krishna. He may give you, the spiritual master or Krishna gives you an instruction which is not different from Krishna. Even an instruction that's very short. You may never see him again. But that will be our connection, our guide, that love that is given us. And it's exemplified by Lord Chaitanya. When his spiritual master tells him, Isvara Puri, the dearmost disciple of Madhavendra Puri, he's instructed by Isvara Puri, this great Acharya, exemplified by none other than Lord Chaitanya, who is not different from Lord Krishna, the embodiment of Radha in Krishna, trying to let us enter that world of loving devotion. What is very sweet? Our life. So, he was given instruction to chant the holy names because he's less intelligent. And he just simply followed the instruction of the spiritual master. So Lord Chaitanya is giving us this guidance that if we follow the instruction of the bona fide spiritual master, the dearmost friend of Lord Krishna, we are blessed and guided and protected, just like Panchatatmadas, like Chaitanya Dasi, and all these great Vaishnavas. It's a world that will give us life and happiness when we remember the eternal pastimes of the devotees of God. Thank you very much. Haribol Namaste.
Namam Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prastaya Bhutale, Shrimati Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa iti namine. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta-vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa namine, Gora Karuna Swarupaya, Radha Krishna Prestayate. Namo Vishnu Padaya, Krishna Prestaya Bhutale, Shrimati Siddhaswarupananda, Paramahamsa iti namine. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda. Bhaja Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shri Vasudeva Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana, Gopala Govinda Rama, Madana Mohana. Jaya Jaya Gauranga, Jaya Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gauranga,
Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Gurudev. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Jaya Jaya Siddhaswarupananda Paramahamsa. Haribol! Thank you very much for participating. Haribol, namaste.